Okay, you guys. Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Jeneth Blackard, and I am the founder of The Real Raw You. It's a blog, a podcast, and it'll soon be a book. And today's guest is Octavia Brooks, and today she's going to take us on some shamanic journeys into greater alignment, greater oneness, and she's also going to kind of help us open some of our capacities to this from this shamanic journey that she's been on. She has quite the story. So we're going to start there today. Before I do, let me just tell you a little bit about Octavia. And I also wanted to remind you about our main program. If you'd like to be more a part of this world and play with us on Quantum Monthly Quests, I have this program called The Retreat. And each month, on the first of the month, you get a quantum activation from me that's about 45 minutes. In February, it is about self-love and really going on a journey and an activation to be more self-love. And then on the 21st of every month, we get on a call together and we share where we went in this 21-day quest. So it's quite interactive. It's a relatively small group right now. You also, when you join, when you buy a speaker special offer for certain ones of them, you get 20% off. And that's often just enough to make it that much easier to join. It's just $37 a month, and you can go to realrawyou.com/retreat. And Octavia is actually a part of the retreat. So I would love for Octavia, if you have anything that you want to mention during this call about that, other than 2 thumbs up, I'd love to hear it. And with that being said, let me tell you a nugget about Octavia. We met, about 6 years ago, 5 or 6. She was invited by another friend to one of my retreats. I used to do these retreats called Origins, and we'd always end that class with this orgasmic breath. And we did a lot of just really cool, following the energy, delicious body work class. And I met her in more of a wide setting at that class. And then from there, we just became friends in the woo. And she is now in Mexico and living in Mexico. And she came to Austin, and we had a little journey of our own. We went on this 2-hour walk and we just talked, and I really found out so much more about Octavia that I didn't know. And she's got quite the story. So we're going to start there. So Octavia, let's start with, I know that there was actually a moment when you started to be able to channel and really know that you are a healer. Let's start there. Tell us the story.
Oh, wow. Well, part of the way I do healing is I work with a lot of guides and spirits. So I'd like to go into, I have a long history talking with spirits, starting back 20, 30 years ago when I was in the pagan movement and doing, Wiccanism and talking with trees and the spirits and the entities of the different directions, north, south, east, and west, and the elements, fire, water, earth, and air. And in the pagan tradition, we actually would invoke the different deities of all different kinds of traditions. And we would say their chants, and we would call those vibrations in, and we would literally incorporate those energies. And I think that was part of how the dialogue started to open up inside me between these higher vibrational frequencies and my capacity to hear what they were recommending to me, what they're saying to me. And then there was another moment where I started working with the angels more. And when they came in, they really, really shook me like crazy. And I literally, my nervous system was so stirred up for about 6 months. I was pretty much begging for mercy. And what happened was Mother Mary came to me in a ceremony and she said, it's time for us to work together more closely. And here I have been basically a goddess worshiper my whole entire life. So here's, a profound teacher, spirit teacher, Mother Mary. And she came in and she had the ability to calm my nervous system with her vibration. She came in and incorporated through me. And in that same ceremony, she said, I know you've been talking about doing webcasts and webinars, and it's time to book one, and I'm going to speak through you. And I was like, okay, how about your birthday? So I had about 3 weeks, maybe less, to conquer all the learning curves about how to do an online webinar, how to get on camera, how to record everything. And I booked it and I marketed it. And sure enough, I had the privilege of her speaking through me. And she gave some really profound messages about how her vibration is calming. Her energy came through me and penetrated into the listeners and the participants on the calls, where they could receive a really deep healing. And I loved her talking about the fractal consciousness of her mantle. Mm-hmm. So that was one of the moments when my channel opened. And now I basically channel on request, pretty much. We talked a little bit before this. I'm like, okay, let's co-create, let's co-channel today's show and make it really, really fun for people. Snatch stuff out of the air that your audience needs to hear, your listeners need to hear.
Yeah. One of the things that I love about you and your work is that you are so open to letting go, dropping that facade, and actually following the guidance. Would you say that you have something to help those of us that are a little resistant to that being a total open channel?
I do. I mentor my clients in this. I really do believe that we all have the capacity to channel healing energy through us. And I have a process for that, actually. I like to think of the heart as having a front part of the heart that's a little bit more connected to humanity, where we can open and close our heart depending on if we're afraid or resistant to loving. And really, truly, the nature of our heart is divine. Mm-hmm. And so I call in divine energy, and I oftentimes work with Mother Mary again on this. And I call her in to open her divine heart inside our hearts. And what I find happens with that is
a channel. Feel that? I'm just like, ooh, all of a sudden my heart just it was almost like a lotus flower just opening. All right, keep going.
What she does, she creates a channel between that human kind of semi-limited third-dimensional personality heart and our deeper soul nature, which is infinite and only ever wants to love. That's all we really ever want to do from a soul perspective, is to channel love into the world. And so she helps us bridge and create that open passageway between our soul self and our hearts and our personality self, because we really are truly safe in loving. And I believe that in all of my experience, divine love is the corrective force, is the one and only transformative force that connects all aspects of the universe. And that's my clear channel that I do with energy healing. And I teach people how to do this, where they can channel that through to other people, especially during a tough conversation. Quick, call in Mother Mary to open your heart so you can channel love and have more compassion in a particular conversation. Have more self-love. You mentioned self-love. We're the first stop on the love train when we're the channel. It comes to us first, and we get nurtured and fed in all of our being first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so beautiful. I really know that along this journey I've done a lot of fighting against really allowing myself to be a total open channel. And when I can be, it's really quite beautiful.
Oh, I love your field, Jenna.
Mm.
All of these people you've interviewed on all of these podcasts and how they've contributed to your expansion into your field, I perceive you as this kaleidoscopic vibrational toolkit of so many flavors and varieties that whoever is standing before you is going to experience your creation through them. They're going to be catalyzed to come into their greater, their next highest vibration. You're kind of, I know you would never call yourself a guru, but that's what gurus do. By their very presence,
Right.
they adjust people and bring them into the next higher vibration. I'm a guru in training, so it's
I used to have the domain Online Success Guru, and I decided that maybe I could let that one go. Tell us about these shamanic journeys.
Yeah, I'd like to, may I speak a little bit about what shamanism is and the whole modern versus, I'd like to go into that a little bit. So a lot of people don't know what a shaman is, and it's a cross-cultural role in many, many tribal and indigenous societies. And it's kind of a leadership role. And shamans will often travel and bring news, to and from other towns and other places. And they also perform ceremonies, but they perform an energy healing role for the community and for individuals in the community. I'm going to say energy healing. They might use a different word for that, but people can come to the shaman for basically anything that's messed up about them and their life. They got bad luck, they've been cursed, something's happening they have physical pain, they can't get, a husband or a wife or any of these types of problems. You go to the shaman, you pay in a chicken or whatever. And what they do is they call their guides and they look into the person's being, and the guides tell them what needs to happen, where the adjustments need to happen, and the guides will sometimes do that. So one of the key tools that we do is soul retrieval. We open our shamanic site and we're shown where the energy is bound up. Oftentimes to me, it looks like I'm traveling down a tunnel. Mm-hmm. Sometimes the tunnel, and it's a timeline tunnel, sort of, but it's quantum. I don't know for sure. So far, things have appeared to be past lives, but sometimes there's alternate realities and alternate lifetimes, different planets, that type of stuff. And it could be in this lifetime when something really major happened, a trauma. But I always go back to the root cause, which could be a couple different lifetimes. And that's where the most interesting stories unfold. Everything from somebody's been cursed and they can't, their energy is blocked. They can't access their capacities or capabilities. They can't access their spiritual guidance. And once we go back, and my guides really, really help me correct these situations and bring the harmony and the balance. Sometimes there's a disconnect, like a really traumatic death is very common. And then the memory of that traumatic death will carry into the lifetime of the person who's sitting in front of me, which could cause all kinds of issues, especially physical health issues, and a lot of issues with mental health, where you have a lot of worrying or obsession, or you crossed wires in the brain. Mm-hmm. So when you go back and heal that situation, bring the soul's awareness to the fact that, hey, you're an infinite being. That was just a lifetime experience. You're just wearing clothes. And we bring that energy back whole and healed into present time. And people have the most miraculous things happen. And it's the same, this is why I love Access Consciousness, because it's about having more of you, mm-hmm. being present here in the third dimension. So soul retrieval brings all these pieces and parts back to you, so that whatever you're attempting to do right here and right now, it just gets easier.
Right, because you don't have to deal with all that stuff in the past.
You're just suddenly, you don't have resistance anymore. Suddenly you're just like, I'll never forget the moment I did a soul retrieval around math and finances, because I used to, the numbers would swim around on the screen in front of me. I'd have about a 10 or 15 minute attention span before they would literally just start. And I'm like, that's not going to really help. As an entrepreneur, we have to work with a lot of numbers,
Right.
So I did this healing, and I'm like, okay, on Monday, I'm going to I'm blocking time out. I'm going to do money stuff. And I really had only planned on a couple hours. And I just went through the whole day. I got everything completely straightened out, organized, updated, down to all the single transactions I needed to record. I was like, who is this person that just sat in front of my computer and did this? But that's the example of what soul retrieval can do. It can make things so much easier. And that's why I put it together with success. It helps people be a lot more successful in their lives. It helps with motivation and inspiration, and things just get a lot easier.
Right. So I know that a lot of people, when they start, and especially a digital online business, there's so much resistance with fear and doubt and lack. You just have to invest a lot of you, a lot of your creative expression. You really have to show up. When is there some sort of group activation that we can do to take away those past collective lies of doubt and fear and especially lack, to like get us going and get us showing up, and to keep us from like this paradigm of hiding?
Ooh, I'd love to, Jeneth.
Yeah,
Are you ready?
I
Let's
am.
do it.
Let's do it.
Let's call all of our guides here, calling all of our guides here, and calling in the highest consciousness, that
Wow.
golden ambrosia energy that comes in, that is, it's really what everything's made of, and it's just our psychology. It's just the illusion of Maya of this world. So I invite everybody to really drop into a deeper knowingness, trusting in the truth of the true abundance that is our divine inheritance. We're children of this greater consciousness. It's available to everybody. And if you take a deep breath and go a little bit still inside, and allow that energy to make a way in you. Allow that energy to make a way in you. Allow it, it's like water flowing through the tiniest little cracks and crevices. And then the ice comes and opens those cracks and crevices a little wider. And the consciousness just comes in and flows through all these different little teeny electrical pathways through you, until all those pathways start to add up together, and they start to merge, and all these creeks, these little tiny trickles, and become creeks, and they become streams, and they become rivers. And the river gets bigger and bigger. It's the Columbia River. It's the Mississippi River. These giant, enormous, the Danube, all the rivers, the Amazon River, becoming wider and wider and wider. And the flow opening in you, and all the way out into the ocean, where you and that energy become one and are merged. And you can relax back into that energy and allow yourself to be lifted, supported. And whenever you have that doubt or uncertainty, you can just turn and put your hand right on this energy and just know, oh, well, that's right. It's just right there. All I need to do is tune into that vibration and that channel, and everything's going to be okay. I'm going to be supported in taking courageous steps, taking courageous action, and being willing to see what happens when I do that, being willing to have truth and have trust that there's something really big waiting for me on the other side of that leap of faith. And this is the consciousness that can support you in taking that leap of faith. I used to study waterfalls. And when the water comes off the top of the waterfall, it's just in this free form, and it's just flowing down, separated and then together and separated and together from the rest of the stream. But it's a huge leap of joy, and the light glistening on that droplet of water as it makes its own journey and then flows back into the greater flow. And that's symbolic of our lifetime here. We're here having this incredible experience in the third dimension, but we're multi-dimensional beings. And we really do have access to all the capacity and capability of all of those dimensions, all of those parallel realities. And we just need to remember sometimes that that's available for us.
Mm-hmm. That was beautiful. I know that in the program that we're going to offer everyone today, you have a way of, with using, I think you call them shamanic visualizations.
Yeah, shamanic journeys. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I want you to, I feel like I'm asking for so much here, but I want you to offer the audience a shamanic journey so they'll have a sampling. If they want more, they would know where to go.
Yeah, awesome. I want to tell people a little bit about shamanic journeys and why I love this particular tool of shamanism. So traditionally, shamans would journey on behalf of their client, and they would go and actually go to another world and do the soul retrieval for that client and bring it back. And for me, when I work with clients, and this is a little bit different with the modern shamanism, and I didn't really quite get back to that loose end, I collaborate with my clients and we do it together. I feel like we're in a shared communal space. So the shamanic journey is something that people can take on their own using an audio, or we can do it together with them. And it has a lot of different levels of reality to it, because you're maybe on your conscious self, you're having some visualizations unfold. And when I do the sample here in just a sec, you'll see I like to start in places that we can envision. Like we're going to start in a natural setting. And then we literally walk down a trail. Most people have walked down a trail before and walked through a trail that goes between some trees. And we walk into a forest. So we're going to do that in a minute. And then the journey can kind of unfold depending on who you might meet or where you might go in that journey. And most of my journeys, I won't have time to include this piece today, most of my journeys go into a place called the Temple Without Boundaries. And this is actually literally one of my spirit guides, who is just so expansive. She's incalculable. And you go into the Temple Without Boundaries. It's a very majestic place full of doorways. And then your guide helps you find the right doorway, and you go in that doorway, and then maybe you go down some steps, maybe you go down some turns and twists and turns, and you go into a place where you have another experience. Sometimes we go up too, into sky temples and things like that. So symbolically, in the mind, in our psychology, a shamanic journey allows us to access our subconscious. And now it's getting to be more known out there that a lot of the limitations we experience in our ability to be successful in lives, and we hit those walls and we hit those boundaries, is because of programming in the subconscious. And what I have come to understand about the way shamanic healing works, and the soul retrieval and the energy healing that we just did, it starts to create the flexibility and elasticity in the mind, which creates the opportunity, like new options arise, new curiosities, new possibilities beyond what we were programmed to think. This opportunity of working with these kinds of tools. So as you're in this journey, and you might encounter a part of yourself, a lost or missing part of yourself. Where did they go? Why did they go? You sit there and you listen to their story. And what do they need from you now? Why did they go away? What happened? What trauma happened? And one story was a guy was bragging about, oh, I have so many creative ideas, I don't even know what to do with them all. Well, he pissed his creative muse off. Right. And that part of him went way, way, way far away. Like he was on a beach in Tahiti, and sure, like his creativity just plummeted. And we went back, and well, it took a little bit of talking to this part of him to be willing to come back. So, but you can have that healing dialogue in the presence of a lot of guides and help and assistance. You're not just on your own, but you're having like an internal therapy session with that inner child or the part of you that wandered off. And when it comes to the moment where they're like, yeah, okay, I'll come back. Okay, it seems like you're making the promises I need to hear. And then that energy will oftentimes step into the person. And maybe we do some integration processes, like drink some sacred water, and the energy actually literally returns to the person, and they come back out of that dark room, or maybe the lights come on in the room, and you can see the majesty of this beautiful place that was all in the darkness before. And when you come all the way back out of that journey, you are literally changed. You don't go you don't have to, kind of different than a counseling session where you're talking things through. You might have to come back around and around and around to that topic, because it's not really integrating on all the levels, the mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual levels. But shamanic journeys do assist in integrating the healing on all of those levels. I've seen people have physical healings, not to mention the emotional and mental kinds of healings, where they feel a peace that they never had before, or that has been so elusive. And then they get the motivation and inspiration, and like, I can do this, instead of like, I never, so this is the power of shamanic journeys. And I have one queued up that I'd like to share with your group today. If you've got it, it's going to be about.
I'm going to pull out my journal. So just in case there's like something that I need to whisper around.
Yeah, because I think I gave you heads up on
what it was.
What I'm going to do today. Yeah.
All right.
So I'm going to give people just a tiny little idea of what we're doing. We are going to, this is a success tool, a tool of visualizing in third dimensional reality, in like a really visceral sense, what you want to create in your life, and having that around you in third dimension. Because this is a manifestational technique. It's pretty much tried and true. The more you can feel and see and know the reality of what you're creating, the more you magnetize that to you. You adapt your own vibration to match the vibration of what you're creating, and you bring it to you. So here we go. Take a couple of deep breaths and get kind of in your calm place. And close your eyes and begin to find yourself in a natural setting. And this could be a place that you've been before, or it could be a place in your imagination. And in this natural setting, the light is so perfect. There's some kind of water nearby. It might be a creek or a lake, or even the ocean. You can feel the tender, soft breeze on your arm, on your skin. And the ground is firm underneath you in this natural setting. And now begin to place a call out to your higher self. This is that sacred soul self inside you. And feeling your higher self now arrive. You may see your higher self arriving. And now you've got a companion to go with you on this journey. And your higher self shows you a little pathway that you hadn't seen before. And you begin to walk down that pathway together with your higher self. And pretty soon you come to a little patch of woods, of sapling trees, young, tall trees, blowing in the breeze ever so slightly. And as you walk through this beautiful forest, you notice the light play on the ground. And you imagine what a beautiful place this is. The animals and the creatures here must really love to live here. And as you go into the forest a little bit further, start to come out into a little clearing. And in this clearing is a beautiful pool of water. Something that seems a little special about this pool of water. As you and your higher self come closer. And as you arrive at the pool of water, a beautiful priestess comes out of the woods on the other side of the pool of water, smiling, dressed in the most beautiful robes. Her hair is adorned with flowers. And she comes over and greets you in a very special way. And she indicates that she is the priestess of this reflecting pool of manifestation. And she invites you down into the pool of water. And as you walk down some solid stone steps into the pool of water, the priestess follows you. And with a conch shell, she begins to dip up water and pour it over you, blessing and preparing you. She pours it right on the top of your head, relaxing your mind, allowing you to connect with deeper capacities and capabilities in your imagination. She backs away from you now, realizing that her cleansing work is complete, and she exits out into the pool onto the side and leaves you there. And as the water begins to still around you, you notice that the water is not actually reflecting the sky or the trees like you would expect. The water begins to take the form of your life you would most love to be living. Reflecting around you now, your perfect ideal home that you would love to live in. Starting to notice the colors of the walls, the shapes and the forms of the structure that your home is made out of. And feeling it arise around you, reflected in third dimension, all around you. And what are the smells that are coming out of the kitchen? What is the scent of the air coming in the windows? How do you perceive yourself physically in this space? How do you feel in your body? Do you feel at comfort, at peace, fully rested, nourished by the best meals? Spend a couple moments here in this aspect of your ideal life, noticing the details as they arise around you, reflected in the surface of this pool of water in third dimensional reality around you. And remember to keep feeling. And now another situation in your life begins to start reflecting around you the wonderful people in your life. For those of us in business, this might show up as your adoring fans. How grateful they are to receive your special teaching and your special work. How honored and privileged they feel to share and commune with your wisdom. How much they benefit seeing their smiling faces around you and feeling the fulfillment in your heart of being in your highest service to these wonderful and amazing people who are making such a difference in the world. People who you have faith in and have trust in. They will carry their message out to their field of influence. Feel your community all around you. Feel the reciprocity of the love flowing between you and your community. And now turn to the relationships that are closest to you. How are you feeling about the people closest to you in your life? Giving and receiving support from each other, your family and your friends. Feeling the openness of creativity, of co-creating life together, being on your path together with these beautiful human beings, these beautiful divine beings in human clothing. Opening and sharing heart space, love with these people. All of your loving friends and family around you, including that special one or that special closest of all relationships. Perhaps this is a marriage partner or partners. People that you share your day-to-day life with. Finding that fulfillment of connection. Enjoying the pleasure of their company. And how their touch feels to your body. Noticing how you're feeling in your body as you think of these perfect and pristine, clear, open relationships that are so beautiful for you, that are so fulfilling and rewarding for you and the others. How does your body feel excited and expanded by these divine contacts, divine connections? taking some deep breaths and really enjoying the celebration of these connections with these people, bringing this home into your body, home into your feeling nature, the 360-degree sights, scents, smells, aromas, touches. And as this pool of reflecting water moves around you, you can go into the sense of healthfulness of your body, of your physical body. Feeling the magic of the right foods and herbs and substances that come and go from your body in perfect harmony, giving rise to your perfect health, to your perfected health. And how does your body feel in this perfected health? How do you see yourself moving in your exercise, in your movement, in your dance, in your life with other people? Watch your body move. Feel your body move. As you take in the nutrition and the substance. Anchoring in all of these memories of your beautiful home, these wonderful relationships that you have all around you, connecting in with your service community, connecting in with the closest people to you in your life, and coming home to your body, the foundation of health that supports it all. Bringing all of this home in your body, bringing all of this home in your heart, and bringing all of this to fruition in your life here now in the present moment that is perfect. And anchoring in all of this and knowing it to be true, knowing it to be true, knowing it is so. And as you make these declarations, the priestess begins to realize that you have come to fruition. She celebrates with you from the shore of the pool. And she invites you to walk up the stairs and out of the pool, the manifesting pool. And she sets you right directly into a sunbeam, and your clothes dry instantly. And she begins to bid you and your higher self goodbye, honoring you and your path of manifestation, and glad to be of service to you in this co-creation moment. And your higher self there, having recorded absolutely every single detail, everything you saw and felt in the reflecting pool of manifestation, gives you a knowing look, and the two of you begin to walk back towards the pathway, turning around once more to give thanks to this powerful pool of water, to the priestess who assisted you, and walking back into the little woods now, which now you strangely notice is alive with life, teeming with sounds of all these beautiful animals and creatures who live in this forest. And there's somehow a greater sense of connection with all of these beautiful creatures. You feel like you are with them and they are with you. And you have another moment of enjoying these beautiful woods as you begin to pass out of the woods and onto the little pathway back to your natural starting place. And arriving back here in your natural setting, noticing the perfect light enjoying the water, the sensation of breeze on your skin, and the solidity of the ground underneath your feet. Giving thanks to your higher self for being your guide here today. Acknowledging them and then noticing that they are returning back to where they normally live, always available for your beck and call. And begin to return now to the room where you're sitting, listening to my voice. And if you feel like you're still in a trance, you can kind of pat your body down a little bit. Get all the way back, maybe take a sip of water. And there you go. That's an example of a shamanic journey.
So are most of them that long within the program?
Yeah, and some of them could be even a little bit longer, depending on the degree of healing that needs to happen. Like I said, you could be having a full-on dialogue with a deep hidden part of yourself. So it could be a little while for some of the healing processes to unfold.
Yeah. Yeah, it was funny. I kind of drew out meeting the priestess and, kind of the visual process that she went through.
Mm-hmm.
One of my big ahas in going back, and it's not profound or anything, but I've done so much vision work these days. One of my ahas that I've been asking for to bring in my life is more like super delicious, peaceful trips and vacations with friends. And I was thinking, yeah, retreats. And I was like, isn't it interesting that I have a new program called Retreats that is a virtual program where you go on these virtual, beautiful journeys. And I'm actually asking for that in the physical realm as well. It was just a little bit of a aha. It's not profound, but it was kind of cool because I hadn't really even thought of it that way. And I actually in my life feel fulfilled and peaceful in general, right? There's still more. I'm not stopping, right? There's still more questing, vision questing and expansion, and I'm going to participate and play in all of it. But I'm so grateful for these quantum activations and attunements from the speakers, because I wouldn't be this peaceful and this real if it wasn't. So I just
Absolutely.
yeah.
I totally support you in making your retreats a physical manifestation.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I know you may attend. So
yeah, I enjoy that program so much, Jeneth. Like the videos that you've done at the beginning of the month that you send to us, I just go into raptures with what you share with us in those videos every time. I don't always remember to write to you about it, but oh my gosh, I'm just like, I might start out puttering around in the kitchen and then I can't anymore. And then I'm like, I just got to hang on every word here. I've got to be present. So thank you so much for the gifts that you share with us.
Well, it's, and in some way I feel like it's not me, right? Because that's totally me going into this awesomeness frequency, which is, I shared in the program what, it is, and just, surrendering to the message. So I often know the next message, right? Like right now, I know that February is going to be about really questing for self-love, but I don't really know what I'm going to say. And it just comes through, and it's just freaking, because I will have to go back and listen, because I'm like, yeah. I'm really hoping to grow that group this year, and I'm hoping there's going to be more amazing light workers like yourself to join it. So, well, tell us about the program. What are the other shamanic journeys within it? But first, you guys, I'm going to give you the link. You can find more about Octavia and this program at realrawyou.com/Octavia. That's spelled Octavia. And there will be a special offer link on that page. Just go ahead and click there, and then you will see what Octavia is sharing for you.
So this program that I'm offering is going to be a collection of 3 journeys to help us, and this is really in that theme of connecting more authentically with other people. So whether you're a man and you want to connect with other men better, or other women better, if you're a woman and you want to connect with other women or other men better, it's a balancing journey of your masculine and feminine sides.
Mm-hmm.
And I love this combination. People get really a lot of levels of benefit out of this program. There's 3 journeys. One, to heal your relationship with your masculine self. And it's similar to what I mentioned. We go into a room, you find your masculine self, you're having a dialogue with him. Where did he go? What does he need from you to bring him into balance? And you do that with the feminine side, and then also bring them together in the temple of lovers and get these 2 parts of yourself interacting and even making love inside you. And this brings your own, this is there's a tantric technique in this program as well to balance your masculine and feminine energies. Your masculine being that like get her done kind of really hyper-focused linear energy, which for some of us can drive us a little, for those overworking types like me, can really like beat you into the ground with, too much overdoing. And then the feminine side is the creative, organic, let's let it flow, let's be in the flow state, let's rest and receive the benefits of the work that we're doing. And you can see how the masculine can maybe overdrive the feminine, or the feminine could put the brakes on the masculine. So in our lives as entrepreneurs, so this particular package will work for entrepreneurs to help us be more balanced in our productivity, accessing our creative inspiration as well as our get her done sides. And it really also facilitates relationships with people in the world, because as you resolve issues with the opposite gender inside you, you find those relationships with other people begin to open up much more easily and much more naturally. So it's one of those like all in one, 3 journeys, bang, you've got a whole bunch of stuff solved.
Cool. Fabulous. Again, you guys, the link is realrawyou.com/Octavia. And you can read about it and find a little more information on that page. And this is fabulous. This was an amazing call. So much fun. Thank you so much.
It's been so fun.
I'd also like, thank you. I'd also like to invite you guys to email me or let me know if you like this video format. And if it will be helpful for us to do both audio and video for you in the future. So definitely let me know, because I think it's delicious because we really get to connect and see the visual changes. So please let me know. Anything else you want to add, Octavia?
I have so much respect and appreciation for you and our friendship, Jeneth. I've learned so much from you over the years. I love the lightness and the heaviness to help us figure out what we want in our lives, and the access clearing. So I just really appreciate this opportunity, and I've had a great time with you.
Fabulous. Well, thank you. Bye.